Hey friends, and welcome to Field Notes, Insights and Observations for the Travel Marketer. My name is Eric Hulkran, live in Atlantic City for the New Jersey Tourism Industry Association Conference on Tourism. For today's episode, we're going to talk about the importance of arts and culture for driving revenue in tourism with Adam Perle from ArtPride, New Jersey. As I said, our guest today, Adam, my friend, how are you today?
Doing great. Excited to be back at the New Jersey Conference on Tourism.
It is great to be here. This is my first one of these. When you come to conferences like this, what are you looking for? Like when you leave tomorrow afternoon, what will make this a success for you?
I think for me, it's twofold. One is connecting and reconnecting with folks in the tourism industry around the state. Like any industry, there's always changing faces, and there's always folks who have been around for a generation, including myself. And so I'm always happy to see old friends and to make those new connections and to meet new faces in the industry because the New Jersey tourism industry is here to stay. The other piece of it is, of course, information, right? Yeah. Professional development, learning new tactics, new tips, getting new information, seeing what worked or what didn't work for other folks, seeing what new technology is out there, and sort of, as best as we can, reading what the trends look like for visitors as well as the economy. And so all of that information to me is the other part, of course, that's really great here today.
So you obviously are the CEO of ArtPride. Let's talk about how did you get here? Like, what was the nexus of ArtPride as an organization and kind of its impact on tourism on a large scale?
Absolutely. So ArtPride New Jersey has been around for almost 40 years. Next year we'll be celebrating our 40th anniversary. It is the statewide arts advocacy organization, arts service organization. We're essentially a trade association for the arts. So we represent all things arts and culture across the entire state. We have members, about 350 or so members that are mostly nonprofit, some for-profit arts organizations, but all shapes and sizes, from the largest arts organizations in the state to smaller, more volunteer-run. But we represent all things arts and culture. So whether that's arts education in our schools, whether that's how arts intersects with economic development, community development, healthcare, and of course tourism and business. And so we're always here because arts and tourism are very closely tied together. Actually, state funding through the New Jersey state budget for arts, history, and tourism are all tied together and paid for by the motel hotel occupancy tax.
Oh, wow, okay.
So those three industries, arts, tourism, history, have been working together, certainly on the advocacy side, but obviously on other collaborations for 20 plus years at this point.
And so for you, because you are tourism adjacent, right? Like, you're not necessarily heads in beds, right? I mean, I know it helps fund
cheeks and seats.
Yeah, exactly. What has this year been like for you, right? Because I've been sitting down with actual DMOs in locations, but you're a much broader scope than that. What's the year been like for you?
So I think for us, we're looking at it more in terms of the trend over the last few years and what that's going to look like moving forward. The arts and cultural industry, and certainly in New Jersey, was one of the hardest hit industries when it came to the pandemic, and we're still in recovery from that. When we look at audience figures, when we look at the amount of folks that are coming, they're spending, when we're looking at jobs in our industry, we've rebounded since the pandemic, but we're not back to where we were pre-pandemic. So if you mix that along with the way that consumers are spending, their habits right now, how people are saving, where they're laying out money, where concerns are around things like affordability and extra spending. The arts and cultural industry has seen a decline in terms of participation, not only in terms of going to events and participating in the arts, but in support, in terms of donors and donations and individual giving to nonprofit arts organizations. So it's been tough, but we're a resilient group.
Sure.
We've shown that we've come back from other issues. I do believe that there is opportunity for us ahead, and frankly, we have a lot of innovative and smart arts organizations across the state that are changing what they're providing, that are adapting as they have many times beforehand. And so I'm very confident that, like most things when it comes to the economy, it's a cycle. It'll come back, the economy, as well as the audiences and the giving.
Give some people some perspective, though, on the importance of, even in a downturn, right? The importance of art as a driver for tourism. People, an example I could give you is not necessarily art per se, but my family just went to Chicago because my son is a huge Spider-Man fan. So the museum had the comic book stuff, and that got us to go out to dinner twice, to stay in a hotel for 2 nights. Like, can you talk about it as a driver for tourism?
Absolutely. So one of the things our organization does is research. We work on a study called Arts and Economic Prosperity. ArtPride New Jersey does it in collaboration with our national partner, the Americans for the Arts, and this is done every 5 years or so. The most recent data that we have really shows that there is a huge impact in terms of the visitor. So the regular patron who goes to an arts event in New Jersey, according to Arts and Economic Prosperity 6, was spending about $32 per person outside the cost of their ticket. Yep. So on food, on parking, on sometimes childcare, whatever the case might be, but just on average. That jumps up to over $50 when you talk about someone who's not a local, someone who's visiting. And then on top of that, the folks that were surveyed who were visitors, a vast majority, I think it was over 70% in the state of New Jersey, said the reason why they traveled was for that cultural event, for that arts event.
70%?
Yeah, over 70% of the people who were said, this is why I came. I came to wherever I am in New Jersey, in Montclair, in Morristown, in Atlantic City, and in Camden, wherever they are. This is why I came. And those folks spend more money, right? Because the number goes up because they spend money on hotels, and they spend more money when you spend more money when you're traveling than when you stay at home. So from a statistical economic standpoint, we can see that that's significant. But more so, we really, in New Jersey, we're very blessed in an amazing way that there are an incredible amount of arts and cultural opportunities across the entire state. In every village and every dell, there's something to do when it comes to cultural opportunities from our big cities, the suburbia, to our urban areas. We're very lucky to have high functioning county cultural arts and arts commissions, but we have not only those big performing arts centers and major museums, new museum facilities that are opening up, but we have downtowns that are very much artist havens and bring that creativity into the feeling of their community. I think all of that together provides an authenticity for the consumer that's what they want when they visit New Jersey. They want to experience New Jersey. They want to see the culture of New Jersey, the artists, the creativity. Yes, probably the pizza and the bagels, too, and so many things that we have to offer, again, from history to attractions. But part of that experience, part of what makes that feel as authentically New Jersey are these great communities that we have, and the arts and cultural opportunities in literally from performing arts, dance, to visual arts, to hands-on glass blowing, to whatever the case is, whatever you might want to really get your hands into or really experience. New Jersey has to offer, and we're something that we're very proud of.
That's amazing. So, Adam, for you, as somebody overseeing the whole thing, you've got 2 data points that I think are interesting, right? You just said 70% of visitors, they're coming for the arts.
Right.
And you're still in a recovery. How do you think about those 2 numbers together, and what does 2026 look like for you?
So and let me be clear that the 70% was the folks that were interviewed at arts events. So
Fair.
they
Got
came
it.
Those folks came to arts events, and they were asked.
There's a recency bias.
So they came to those events, and they were interviewed at the events for this research. And they said, okay, you came. How much money did you spend?
Got it.
And then why did you come? Oh, you came for this event.
Got it.
So just to be clear to the listeners, and they can go on to artpridenj.org and see all this great data. I think things will continue to improve in 2026. I'm hopeful for that. I think as time goes on, there's going to be ability for, like I said before, the economy to cycle back. I'm hopeful that things like affordability will come under control, and people will feel more comfortable spending money on cultural opportunities. But that said, I also see our arts organizations continuing to adapt, continuing to be innovative about how do they get to the consumer. And for anyone that's listening, I'll put in the plug to tell folks to go to jerseyarts.com, sign up to be a member of Discover Jersey Arts, free member. give us your email. Let us know where you live, what you're interested in. I like dance. I like visual arts. I'm a live music person, whatever the case might be. And we'll send you cultural opportunities. We're going to send you discounts. We're going to send you what's going on. We work with hundreds of arts organizations across the state to compile and share that data. We do featured stories, videos, podcasts, the Jersey Arts Podcast. I know it's a little meta plugging another podcast on one podcast, but I just want to really encourage the cultural consumer out there who's listening to this to dive in. There's so many opportunities, particularly around this time of the year. Right now, we run like our holiday campaign about all the different opportunities, whether you want to see Christmas Carol or Nutcracker or whatever else might be happening. There's so many cultural opportunities across the state in these next few weeks.
That's amazing. So one of the things that I wanted to kind of glean from you is we obviously have two giant things heading, almost like two giant meteors heading to New Jersey soon here with FIFA, right, and the 250th anniversary. So you're going to have a lot of human beings coming from outside the area into the area. What do you think will surprise them about the art scene, and what do you think they'll take away when they get exposed to wherever they land for these two events?
So I think they're both different. I think for the World Cup, and when you think, and they're both drive international tourism. I think folks will be always continue to be surprised at New Jersey, at the vast array of folks that we have in the state, and the not only the cultural opportunities, the attraction opportunities, the food. I'm big on New Jersey is one of the great places in our country to eat. And I think so. I think folks will be surprised at it. I think also when you're coming in from international, you kind of hear about the largesse of America, how big America is. But New Jersey is a small, dense, compact state. And so you're really able to go from place to place. And the accessibility of that, I think, will be all be interesting. And I really hope that folks get to experience different parts of our state and some of the cultural things that are going on. I recently learned about a mural that's going up in Newark that's supported by FIFA and is going to highlight some of the World Cup. And so those types of things that really are an incredible opportunity for us, and I'm hopeful the state will take advantage of it. The 250th is a bigger. So yes. 2026 is the 250th, but our folks here in the state are really viewing it as actually an 8-year run from 2026 through 2033, an opportunity for us to really build the narrative around the story we have here in New Jersey. I know, I'm here promoting the arts, but we work closely with the folks at the 250th. You will see arts organizations.
There's arts involved.
Absolutely. I was about to say you'll see arts organizations across the state, whether it's leaning into community events that focus on the 250th, whether it's putting on performances, of traditionally patriotic, musicals, things like 1776, or whether it's just trying to encapsulate that celebration into their arts education program. And we're going to see that through and through across the state. For us, I think in New Jersey, I always like to say there's more history in Trenton than there is in Boston. Boston does a better job of telling the story.
Sure.
And so this 250th is an opportunity for us.
Is that a T-shirt? I feel like that's a T-shirt. We should make that into a T-shirt.
Maybe. But I think for us, the work that's been done so far, the work that is happening now, and what the next few years will lay out provides an opportunity for us to do a better job of telling the story, and then provide an impact for the next generation, for the next few 5, 10, 15 years, to draw in folks from around the country, from around the globe, to see the American Revolution, because it happened right here in our state.
That's awesome. So 2 last questions, then I'll let you go. You're obviously someone who's very intense and passionate about the work that you do. What about 2026 has you as excited? As you're looking into the new year, we're kind of wrapping up, obviously, 2025. What next year has you excited outside of the World Cup and 250th? Like, what else is on your horizon?
So
your vision board.
I will first share a line from one of my favorite meme reels, which is, "I'm not intense, I'm from New Jersey."
Fair. I am not from New Jersey, so I pick it up as intense.
So you could try to find that one on the internet. It's a great job of one of my fellow New Jerseyans. So I'm really excited again about our new governor coming in, Governor Sherrill coming in. Whenever there's a new administration on either side of the aisle, there's always a pickup in momentum and in energy, and usually a new leader for our Division of Travel and Tourism. And my interactions with Governor-elect Sherrill and with Lieutenant Governor-elect Dale Caldwell, who's going to be our Secretary of State, and that's where the Division of Travel and Tourism. They're smart folks. You may not necessarily agree with all their politics, that's fine, but when it comes to running government and being efficient, I view them as folks that have that ability. And so I'm really excited to see how they take advantage of what we have in front of us, the opportunity that we have in front of us. And then beyond that, there's going to be, there's going to continue to be major events in New Jersey. The Men's World Cup is going to be quickly followed by the Women's World Cup, and so on and so forth. So, there's great things ahead for New Jersey when it comes to tourism.
Okay, last question. Somebody's coming here for the first time. Obviously, the tourism industry is going to direct them to things to do. But if they wanted to really dial into the locality, what's something they should make sure that they eat or try before they take off that they wouldn't naturally, like you said, the pizza and the bagels are kind of a natural. What's the thing that they would miss out on if they were an actual local? They'd be eating X, but they won't know it because it's their first time.
Does it have to be food specific?
No, not at all.
So I'm going to again put a plug in here that if folks go to jerseyarts.com to check out Jersey Arts Road Trip, which highlights 10 or 11 cultural destinations across the state. These are hubs of arts, destination, hotels, dining. And so, I would say, depending on where you're coming in, pick one of those. I'm going to plug one of our folks that's actually presenting here today, Grounds for Sculpture, which is in the center part of the state in Central Jersey, which exists. It's a different podcast, different debate, but our governor made it law, so it exists. And I, for what it's worth, I'm a believer in Central Jersey. But Grounds for Sculpture is actually on the former state fairgrounds. It's a 47-acre sculpture park, immersive experience, and it's one of these maybe not so hidden some more as it used to be, but it's an incredible gem, and it's one of those things that no matter who I bring, no matter what part of the world they're from, you bring them into this space, it's an incredible, it's kind of awe-inspiring, and it's mystical in a way because it's exploratory. You're really, you're wandering and checking different things out and going down a path and then discovering a piece of art. So that's one of those really unique things. But it's hard for me to pick. I'm not going to tell you. We could do another podcast on my favorite bagel. Yeah. The 135 miles of the shore from Atlantic City to the gate, the Golden Gateway of North Jersey, from, as they say, from High Point to Cape May. One of the reasons I'm so passionate about New Jersey tourism is because we have almost everything in this state. I always say this all the time. You tell me the other state besides New Jersey and California where you can surf and ski in the same state. And I used to say not at the same time, except that the best surfers in the world will tell you the best time to surf in New Jersey is in the winter.
Yep.
So I think we have it all. As you can't tell, I'm a lifelong New Jerseyan, and I have a lot of love for this state. So it's hard for me to pick just one thing.
I love it. Adam, thank you so much for the time.
Thank you for having me.